There are a couple of larger blades to consider using for this purpose. Keep in mind that these larger blades require a new blade holder. The CB15U K30 blade is better suited for more pliable medias such as sandblast mask, since it can maneuver more easily around corners due to its sharper angle. This in turn provides clean corners. The first step is to configure a condition specifically to cut sandblast mask using the CB15U K30. Let's first switch to a condition to configure for cutting this media. In this case, we will be using condition 5. This is done simply by holding the Enter key and pressing the up arrow key. Now that the cutter is set to condition 5, let's configure it. Let's start with the blade type. In this case, we will be using the CB15U K30. So let's press the 2 key, and then press the up arrow key to change the blade type until we see that blade model number. Press Enter to accept the change. Next, we will press the 3 key to adjust the speed by lowering it, which is a good idea for thicker medias. Set the value to 15, and then press Enter. Next, we can set the force to around 30. Keep in mind that we have tested this value for this type of media, but you may find that you'll end up using a different value. Then press Enter. Next, we will enable Tangential Mode by pressing the down arrow key until this page appears. Before we enable it, let's go over how this option can help us when cutting thicker medias. This is a slow motion clip that shows the up and down tool movement when the tangential mode is engaged. This diagram provides a better understanding of how tangential mode works. When the blade reaches a corner, in a quick movement, the blade is lifted out of the media, it maneuvers the blade to the next direction, comes back down, and continues on with cutting the next segment. But notice at the corner that it not only lifts out of the media, but it overcuts each line. When doing this, it allows the corners to have a cleaner cut. To enable the tangential mode, first press the 3 key. Condition 5 is highlighted, so we now have a choice of pressing 1 for mode 1, pressing 2 for mode 2, or pressing 3 to keep it disabled. Mode 1 will cause the blade to lift at each corner as well as overcuts each corner. It is generally used for thicker media because it provides clean corners. Mode 2 is for semi-thick medias. It will cause the blade to lift at each corner, but only overcuts on the corner of the start and end point. In this case, we will choose Mode 1 since we will be cutting a thicker media, and click Enter to accept the change. The overcut, just below tangential mode, goes hand in hand with the tangential mode in that it allows the distance of the overcuts to be adjusted if needed. Increasing the overcut distance can ensure that the start and end points meet. Once it is set, we can press Enter. Finally, the acceleration can also be adjusted to a slower value so that it won't accelerate around the corners too fast, causing the corners to lift or be damaged. Once again, pressing Enter will accept the change. Now that Condition 5 has been configured to the right settings, including enabling tangential mode and overcut, every time this condition is used, it will perform exactly what is needed for clean cutting on thicker medias.